Hello, welcome to another episode of Once Upon a Time in the Movies, now in audio. This time we're going to talk what I have seen in a pretty good weekend for cinephiles. I believe it was all over the world. I believe these new movies were out in the same day for the whole world. We had The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson, we had The Materialists, the new movie of Celine Song, and of course we had Together with DeFranco and Alison Brie in a pretty amazing weekend, I should say, if I may. Well, first I want to talk about Together. It is a pretty cool movie. It's a couple that have been, they're not married, but have been in a serious relationship for 10 years, and it got monotone, and they decide to move to a house in a little town where the guy, the Franco, feels trapped, like a hostage. He wants to be a musician, but he doesn't have the means. First of all, he doesn't know how to drive, which is real funny, and because of how it plays in the movie, I mean, and that causes him to not be able to go to the rehearsals he wants to be, and in trying to connect with each other, they get mashed up in some sort of cult religion or cult sect in which that existed in this town they were, where there's this magic pond of water in a cave that when two people drank it, they start to feel attracted to each other, but not like in a sexual way. I mean, yes, in a sexual way, but also like their bodies try to get fused together, and this gives pretty amazing visuals and dynamic where it's a pretty in-your-face idea to talk about the theme of the movie, of them coming together, of them learning to work together to accept the other, and it is pretty effective. At first I should say that I was a little kind of scared about this movie because I feared that it was possible that such an simple concept, how could they make it work for a 90-minute movie, for a feature-length movie? And actually the film kind of pulls it off. I will say that it takes quite some time to start. It has a pretty cool prologue, in more or less it doesn't get to the point it could have gotten, and it's like kind of forgotten, but it's pretty cool. And especially like there is this strong image of two dogs fusing together. It's pretty amazing, and I mean the concept where their hands start to get into each other's skin, where their eyeballs start to smoosh to one another, and their bodies like being pulled to one another, and they trying to stop it. They give pretty intense sequences. There is this one where they are like contortionists in a hallway. It is pretty cool, yet I should say that I believe that in the first act and in the third, the filmmaking is really good. It's like not just competent, but actually trying to be something immersive, something new and dynamic and pretty visually striking, something that just doesn't happen through the second act, and so it is like watching these cool moments at the beginning and again at the end, but during the middle half of the story is like just pretty much generic, and I mean it was kind of disappointing in that manner. The characters, they have a lot of chemistry together. I believe they are partners in real life, and it works so well here. You can see the love/hate to each other, which is something we don't see in The Materialists, but I will get to that later. But it is pretty amazing, I should say. yet I don't quite love also that it like drags a little to find its tone. Like at the end, it is pretty clear that it is a comedy horror movie, but at the beginning, it's not really clear. Like there are certain images that I'm not sure if we're supposed to be funny or just creepy. There are certain jump scares or certain the way like DeFranco is constantly saying one-liners. Or saying stupid shit that it's funny, but you don't know if that's just his personality or that's meant to establish the tone of the story, because nothing else is so funny until some point of the movie. So I believe that at the end it's kind of weird trying to figure out how you should feel, and because of that, and we are so confused that at the beginning I didn't thought it was meant to be a full-on comedy. Like at the end it's pretty clear, and so at the beginning I was trying to feel frightened, but I was not that frightened. I was just more like confused, but overall it's a pretty good solid story. The good characters, good certain images are really amazing. Yes, I should say it drags in some ways in different parts of the movie, but at the end it's a pretty solid, pretty amazing experience, and I should encourage you to watch it for yourself. Then I also watched The Naked God, this remake of the, I believe, 1985 movie with Leslie Nielsen. Here it is. Like a sequel slash reboot with Liam Neeson playing his daughter, his son, sorry. Yes, at the beginning he dressed like a girl, but it's a pretty amazing scene. And here it's just a cop who is trying to figure out a mystery. There's not that much else. It's no. Like they are trying to make some maybe insightful comments, but it get lost. The plot is really surface level. Many bits have even when they like update certain ideas and bits to this new narrative and more modern narrative, with maybe more like hacking and using technology. It at the end it's pretty basic and not really that memorable in the story, but the characters work, they have good chemistry. Liam Neeson is very funny here. Pamela Anderson also complements him really well. It's a really enjoyable time. And I believe that it has certain advantages. I believe that the filmmaking, the fact that right now there is more budget or more VFX that can be done simply, manages to create some scenes that still look kind of ridiculous and cheap, but managed to get some comedy that in the 80s will not have been possible to do. And here there is this puppeteer, there is a lot of use of green screens and things that show certain match cuts. It's a lot of things that like I feel they do went on for making a full remake, and I believe in many ways it surpasses the original. I believe that mainly here they try to integrate the jokes into these scenes other than the other way around. In the first that I just watched a couple of weeks ago, it's like they have this set of jokes and they built a narrative around them, but sometimes you get lost in scenes that don't really make sense. And here they try to come out with jokes, and they come out with jokes based on these on the scenes that they have to have. And so it is like it feels more of a movie more than a collection of sketches. So I really appreciate that. That really made me feel like this was something I could get more invested on. At the same time, some things are like the same. Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson's love story, it's the same that it was in the original one, just they are in love because they are the main characters and there's not really any interaction. Here I believe that it is a little bit more like they try a little bit more, like at least here they have more scenes together, they have fights and disagreement with each other, instead of her being just madly in love with him and him loving her because she's pretty hot, I assume. And here that's really, I wouldn't say it's working, but I'll say it is more rewarding, and it's and I should really like that here the filmmakers did try, at least they try to do something else. Other than that, I think that there are certain topics that they have to call back to the original movie, like the presence of Al Yankovic. I believe it's pretty funny, I really like that guy, but I do believe that it's kind of I kind of don't get it. I really don't quite understand why they got this super funny guy for these cameos and there's no songs of him. Like it would be pretty much hilarious to have him parody a song in the movie, like to have him singing Amish Paradise or Fat Man. It will be, I mean, they have this, why don't squeeze all the juice out of it? And also, return to Pamela Anderson's and Liam Neeson love story that apparently turned out to be true also in real life. There's this sequence where they fight a snowman that comes to life because they do a satanic ritual. That's so... That will be like the only thing I will say that it's a sketch that doesn't make part in the whole movie, but it is so over the top, so nonsensical, absurd that I believe it captures the magic of the original and even surpass it. Like it really commits with the surreal and absurdity of it all, and they managed to make this, even when not maybe like the most plot-wise deserving scene. Yes, it's scene that develops the characters and I mean, you know. But even though I really believe it was a fun experience, the third act is kind of in your face. There's nothing very unique or worth of watching. There's nothing much new to it, but it is a fun time. I should really encourage you to go watch that if you like comedy movies. It's like I believe we have been a long time without a comedy movie on its own, and it has pretty good action sequences. Not good action sequences, funny action sequences, and so I do believe that it is something deserving of being watched if you do like comedies, especially if you like the original Get Gone movie. I believe this one will more than fulfill what you like about that. Also, they recognize that they have O.J. Simpson. Like, it is very intrinsically self-aware of it, that the jokes about O.J. Simpson are very funny. Here it comes over the top everything, really. Just go watch it. But finally, The Materialists, the new film by Celine Song, the Oscar nominee for Past Lives. Here it's his new movie with Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal, who, for God's sake, stop giving him every part in every movie. It's like right now going to the movies feels like watching the Polar Express, where Tom Hanks is every character, and it's playing like even kids, and it's just creepy. Like, stop it. I feel like the cinema landscape right now, it's like the Polar Express with Pedro Pascal, but even though he does really great, he's a very charismatic guy. I believe it's not as charismatic as in his interviews, but I do enjoy watching him here. Dakota Johnson, I would believe it's like the less charismatic actor in the movie. I mean, she works fine, but I don't know, it's kind of Madame Webby. That's not a compliment, I guess, but he delivers, he does well. Chris Evans is very funny, not as funny as in other parts, but he nails his character, he gives what he needs to give, and completely buy it. And I believe that with much of the shortcomings of this movie that I found, the charisma of these actors is what gives it's not only watchable but enjoyable. Like, you really like to watch more these actors than these characters because they are not characters. But I will address this issue at the beginning. And the Materialist is I don't know if you watch Past Lives, but I did when it came out, and I don't really like it that much. I mean, it was fine, but pretty forgettable. I don't remember anything, and what was my main problem with it was that there was no plot. Like, characters just talk and about nothing, and they felt things that sometimes they express it, some other times not. So, it wasn't a movie for me, to be honest. And here in The Materialist, it's like the opposite, where instead of having so little explanation of what's happening, here everyone is telling you what's happening. What I mean by this is the movie has an amazing thing. It's the idea that in the 21st century we have become so materialistic that we look like an impossible being for a partner. Like, we want him to be tall, have a lot of money, be careful with us, that takes care of us, that is funny, that's never mad, that is not absorbing work, but we want everything, the movie gets into this point where it is really interesting, the work of the idea of Dakota Johnson's character being a matchmaker. It's very interesting with that theme because it's like his character embodies this thing. He just watches everything, everyone, and every relationship as one and zeros, as a math that she can figure out if she will work with him or vice versa. It's a really good topic and kind of ridiculous, but it feels serious in the movie, that he works on that, and it's pretty amazing in that regard. And she starts dating this Pedro Pascal, who is the most amazing guy ever because he's rich and hot and tall and has everything, but there is no but she encounters her ex-boyfriend who she loved deeply, but they were fighting and she was not satisfied with him because he was poor and those kind of things. So that's other things they have to learn to cope with. But I mean, at the end, I really think that the problem, it's an amazing exploration of these themes, and then it got so many dramatic scenes about harassment, about abuse and all of these things, but the characters just don't work. They just all the time they are just saying the themes. Like, this scene is about this theme, they only say this theme, and they don't act like humans. Like, I never watch them exchange a conversation that is not about materialistic things, and I guess that's the point of the movie, but it is all in the text, in what they are saying, that nothing gets under the surface. There's no subtext, it's all so literal, and they talk and talk and tell you what you are seeing and tell you what the movie wants you to learn. And so it's like having a 2-hour lecture instead of watching a movie where the characters act. Like, I never believed Dakota Johnson and Chris Evans' characters were in love, because they never share a scene together where they show it for one another. The only thing they do is they say that they love each other and you have to buy it. And when doesn't feel secure enough to be with Pedro Pascal, she says it. No, she doesn't self-sabotage her or like try to disguise. No, she goes forward and just say it, and it's like. Like I mean, for a thematic purpose, and I guess it works, but it is so on your face that it becomes really boring, really sudden. And there are a couple of ideas and visual things, but overall it's like a pretty basic rom-com. And the thing that made it special was the theme and the work and the thematic place of the characters. And here we don't have that. They just say it out loud, and I believe it was. It made me feel dumb, but also on the side of me it was a couple which the woman had to be explaining the man everything because he was not following, and I was like, for God's sake, they already do it and then tell it and they recall it. So. But I don't know. I really think it's such. I believe it's a shame that such an amazing potential, such an amazing cast was. I don't want to say wasted, but that's pretty much how I feel. Feels like not taking the advantage it could have had to have this extremely dramatic, subtle but clear idea and exploration of dense and contemporary topics, and it just becomes like a 2-hour lecture of characters telling me what I am supposed to feel instead of letting me feel them through them. So. Yes, it's more like the writer was telling me her point of view about materialistic and about life, more than letting me learn it and feel it and tell me a story. But I think that I am really sure picking, and that most people will definitely enjoy the movie theater was packed, so you should probably want to watch it. The theme and the actors are so good and so amazing that by its own, even if it's not the revolution of rom-coms, it's worth watching just to have this good time and to reflect and meditate on these things. I do believe it could have been better, but we have to deal with what we have, and I wouldn't stop recommending it because of it. Just a little word of advice and precaution. And that was all for this week.